We start off with absolute chaos.
Blades are spinning, bodies are flying, and the blood demon cult is just casually wiping the floor with the so-called elite warriors.
It is a massacre, plain and simple.
You would think the head of a prestigious clan would put up a fight, right?
Wrong. The demonic leader, Du Tang, is literally laughing in his face, asking how the leader of the Xianwu clan forgot his own family's legendary martial arts and is using trash techniques from other sects. Talk about embarrassing. The disrespect is unreal. Du Tang stands over the pile of corpses and basically calls the clan leader a fraud. He looks at the carnage and calls them sickening for killing their own people, which is rich coming from the guy who just slaughtered everyone. But the cruelty does not stop there. Du Tang spots the last survivor, Xianwu Jin, the final patriarch of this ruined clan. He orders his minions to kill the poor guy as savagely as they did the others. No mercy, no monologue, just straight-up execution orders. As death stares him in the face, Jin has a flashback to his squad leader.
The blue spirit of his mentor appears, reminding him that he is not a loser until he actually gives up.
It is the classic anime pep talk right before the end, and honestly, he needed it.
Jin realizes if he gets captured, he will just become a puppet for these demonic freaks.
So he decides to pull the ultimate power move. He grabs a blade and declares he will die on his own terms. Du Tang is actually shook, shouting, "What are you doing?" as Jin plunges the blade into himself. As the life fades from his eyes, Jin swears he will haunt them as a ghost.
He spills his own blood to spite them, but deep down, the regret is hitting him hard.
He realizes he spent his whole life running away, avoiding conflict with his brothers, and wasting his potential. His final thought is a wish that he had lived up to his potential instead of being a coward.
And then, darkness. But wait. He does not fade into the void. He hears a voice screaming at him. He falls through the trippy space-time continuum and slams back into reality. He wakes up to his father screaming his name. But something is different.
Jin looks down and realizes he is
round. He has been transported 10 years into the past, back when he was a chubby, unmotivated disappointment. He is kneeling on the floor, tied up. His father, the patriarch, is furious. Jin is confused, looking at his chubby hands like they are alien artifacts. His dad demands an answer, but Jin has no idea what is going on. He just got here. Then it hits him. His father asks if he admits to killing his future brother-in-law. Jin remembers this day. It is the day he was framed for murdering his best friend, Dan Hazong. In his memory, Dan died over 10 years ago after they got drunk, but Jin knows for a fact he did not have the motive or the skill to kill him. Jin tries to play dumb because he is still processing the time travel lag, but that just makes his dad angrier. Meanwhile, his snake-like brothers are in the background, grinning. They ask how they are supposed to apologize to the Dan clan, clearly setting the stage to throw Jin under the bus. These guys are pure evil. They suggest crippling Jin or sending his corpse as an apology. Then, the genius idea drops, why not send him to the front lines? The Alliance has been asking for a direct lineage son anyway. It is the perfect way to get rid of the spare heir without getting their own hands dirty.
And by front lines, they mean the meat grinder in Yunnan against the blood demon cult.
It is basically a dumping ground where clans send their unwanted children to die. Jin knows exactly what they are doing.
They think they are sending a pig to the slaughter, but they have no idea this pig has future knowledge.
Later that night, Jin is chilling in his cell when Xianwu Yona visits. In his past life, he just cried like a baby here. But this time, he is calm. He looks her in the eye and tells her he is not the culprit. The change in his demeanor completely throws her off. He hits her with straight facts. He explains that he had no reason to kill his only friend and her fiancé. He points out that the murder weapon was a sword he did not even have on him. Yona is stunned because the idiot brother is suddenly making a lot of sense. But then he drops the bomb, he is going to the battlefield anyway. He explains that back in the day, he had to play dumb to survive the bullying from his brothers and their mothers. He acted like a fool so long that he eventually became one. But not this time. He needs to leave to become strong. He reveals his true goal is to meet his role model on the battlefield, the Berserk Tempest-soaring dragon, Seal Pung.
He realizes that staying in this toxic household will only rot his brain again.
He needs to go to war to forge himself into the warrior he failed to be last time. As Yona leaves, confused but impressed, another visitor steps out of the shadows. It is his father. The old man was listening the whole time. Jean tries to revert to his dumb act, sweating bullets, but the patriarch is not buying it this time. In the past timeline, his dad just sighed and left. But this time, the old man stays. He calls Jean out, saying he knows he has been pretending to be stupid all these years. Jean is shocked. The old man knew the whole time and just let it happen? His father actually apologizes. He admits he neglected Jean because he had no backing from his mother's side and the other wives had too much influence.
He thought ignoring him was the safest option, but now he realizes he ruined his son's life.
It is a rare moment of accountability from a cultivation dad. The patriarch asks if Jean wants anything before he is shipped off to his likely death. Jean seizes the opportunity. He asks to enter the patriarch's library just once. His dad is confused. He wants to learn martial arts in a single day? Jean explains that in his past life, well, he does not say past life, but we know, he became the patriarch by accident and knew nothing of his own clan's arts, forcing him to steal techniques from others. He refuses to repeat that embarrassment. He wants to learn the 13 Manhwa swords now. His father agrees but goes one step further. He says it is too dangerous for Jean to learn alone. He decides to teach him the ultimate primordial unity arts himself. This is the top-tier secret technique reserved only for the heir. Jean is stunned but immediately sits down to learn. The transfer begins. His father starts pumping energy and knowledge directly into him.
Jean realizes this is the technique he only dreamed of.
He should be happy, but he has a strange feeling about it.
Still, he is not going to say no to a legendary power-up.
Outside, the brothers are losing their minds.
They cannot believe the trash is allowed in the library. They beg their father to reconsider, claiming it will ruin the clan's image if Jean dies with their secrets. But the patriarch shuts them down cold.
The brothers are seething, plotting their next move, thinking it is only for a day so it does not matter.
But inside the library, Jean is grinning like a maniac. One day? For a guy with his memory and regression hacks, one day is more than enough to become a monster.
Listen, if you think studying for finals is hard, try shoving entire martial arts encyclopedias into your brain until your synapses start frying.
Our boy Cianwood Jean isn't just reading, he is literally downloading data like a human hard drive. He calls it photographic memory, but let's be real, this is a glitched-out cheat code that let him survive an entire war in his past life just by copy-pasting his dead comrades' moves. But even a genius brain has to deal with hardware limitations. Trying to absorb the 13 Manhwa swords manual is melting his CPU. He looks like he just finished an all-you-can-eat buffet of ancient texts and is currently in a food coma, except the food is knowledge and the coma is literal physical collapse. He drags his heavy body outside for some fresh air, looking less like a martial artist and more like a Discord mod touching grass for the first time in years.
He collapses on the lawn, questioning his life choices, wondering if he should just tap out.
But of course, peace and quiet are forbidden for main characters. Right on cue, the trash sibling squad pulls up. We've got the classic lineup, the arrogant brothers and the enabling sister, all looking down on him with that smug "I'm better than you" energy. They don't even see a brother, they just see a lazy pig who refuses to train. Little do they know, this pig is currently processing more combat data than they'll learn in a lifetime. They aren't alone, though. They brought a guest to witness the family shame. Jean spots the blue-haired beauty and instantly recognizes her. That's Jagal Seal, the Heavenly Wisdom Sword. She's basically a celebrity prodigy touring the clans to flex her skills.
And here she is, watching Jin getting roasted by his own bloodline.
The siblings are ruthless, openly discussing how they're shipping Jean off to the Great Demon Cult battlefield tomorrow. It's basically a death sentence disguised as atonement for crimes he didn't even commit. They treat him like a stain on the family crest, laughing about how he's barely human. But then, brother number 3, let's call him generic bully GI, decides words aren't enough. He wants to get physical to impress the pretty guest. He steps up with that nasty grin, ready to beat down his defenseless, out-of-shape brother.
This guy really thinks he's the main character of this story.
GI throws a punch intended to humiliate, but Jean simply raises a hand. The impact hits, and yeah, Jin's current body is softer than a marshmallow, so it hurts like hell. His arm turns red instantly, and he's sweating bullets. But here is the kicker, he blocked it. The useless pig stopped the trained warrior's strike. The silence is deafening until the other brother bursts out laughing. Imagine training your whole life just to get your punch caught by the family disappointment. GI's ego shatters instantly. He accuses Jean of having slow reflexes, trying to salvage his pride, but the damage is done. He looks like an absolute clown in front of the J-Gal heiress. Now GI is triggered. He charges in, desperate to reassert dominance. But Jean? He's not scared, he's taking notes.
He realizes this is a golden opportunity to see the Tempest 13 strikes in actual motion.
He needs a live demonstration to connect the dots from the books he memorized. Jean starts tanking hits and dodging, his eyes scanning every muscle twitch. He even throws out a savage not bad, just to goad GI into attacking harder. GI falls for it hook, line, and sinker, unleashing a flurry of strikes. To everyone else, Jean looks like he's getting beaten up, but in reality, he's downloading the fighting style in 4K resolution. As the fists fly, Jin's internal monologue is dissecting the technique.
He realizes the moves feel familiar but wrong.
GI is sloppy. The timing is off. The Tempest waves aren't flowing properly. Jean is literally critiquing his attacker's form while getting punched in the face. That is a level of petty dedication I have to respect. Jean keeps taunting him, asking for more, acting like a masochist just to see the full combo chain.
The siblings are confused, thinking he's lost his mind, but Jean finally sees the mechanism.
He understands the flow that the text couldn't explain. The download is complete. He spots a massive opening in GI's defense. He could end this man's whole career right now. But he remembers his role, he's supposed to be the weakling. So, he takes the final hit, faking a dramatic collapse like a Premier League soccer player diving for a penalty. He hits the ground, wheezing, while the brothers laugh at their victory. But the laughter dies quick when J-Gal Seal steps in. She is not impressed. In fact, she looks disgusted. She calls them out for ganging up on an exhausted, injured man. The brothers freeze, realizing they just exposed themselves as dishonorable trash in front of the girl they wanted to impress. Talk about an L. The bullies scramble to make excuses, but the vibe is ruined. They drag themselves away, leaving Jean alone in the dirt. He drops the act immediately, complaining about his fat reserves, but he got what he wanted. He knows the moves now. Suddenly, a shadow looms over him. It's the final boss, his father, clan leader Sean Woo-jung. Jean panics, thinking he's about to get scolded for embarrassing the family again.
But the old man's face isn't angry.
It's soft. The patriarch actually says good work. Excuse me? He admits he's proud. He starts dumping his emotional baggage, talking about how his choices were always for the clan and not himself, hinting at deep regrets. It's a rare moment of vulnerability from the stoic father figure. He asks if Jean read the 13 Sianwa Swords text. When Jean confirms, the dad decides to give him one last gift before the battlefield. He draws his sword. He's going to show Jean the real deal, not the knockoff version his brother was flailing around. In a blink, the atmosphere changes. The father unleashes the technique with terrifying speed and precision. It's a blur of motion, a true master at work. Jin's eyes widen, his photographic memory capturing every frame, every angle, every shift in weight. He performs the entire 13 swords sequence, then loops it faster. It's beautiful and terrifying.
Jean realizes this is the missing piece.
The text was just the recipe, this is the meal.
He's mentally stitching the visual data to the memorized text, perfecting the art in his mind instantly.
The demonstration ends as quickly as it began. The father leaves, having passed down the legacy in the only way he knew how. Jean is left breathless, not from exertion, but from the sheer weight of the knowledge he just gained. He heads back inside, his brain buzzing with power. Back in the library, Jean isn't done. He goes back to the ancestor diaries, looking for clarity. But something feels off. One of the book covers is suspiciously thick. You know what that means, hidden loot. He peels back the paper, revealing secret pages hidden by a previous generation. It's a classic trope, but it hits every time. What he finds isn't just a diary entry, it's a manual extension. His eyes widen. It's the 14th form. A move that shouldn't exist. But wait, there's more. He flips it over and finds a 15th form. The clan's martial arts didn't stop at 13, someone buried the ultimate techniques, and our boy just found the keys to the kingdom. The glow-up is about to be legendary. Listen, nothing travels faster than drama in a toxic clan house.
The servants are already losing their minds gossiping about the impossible. Sian Jean, the supposed family disappointment, actually managed to land a hit on his golden boy brother.
And not just a hit, he apparently folded him before fainting like a drama queen. Someone is so stressed by this news they are literally snapping combs in half. But the walls have ears, and today those ears belong to Jagal Seal. While she fixes her hair, she hears the maids giggling about how the fourth son tried to show off and embarrassed himself.
But when they realize the heavenly wisdom sword is listening, the vibe switches from gossip hour to pure terror instantly.
Seal isn't buying the useless trash narrative. She is sharp. She immediately pulls up a dossier on Jean that she bought from the house sect.
Her companion Chongyunjin is just chilling with a teddy bear, wondering why a top-tier martial artist is obsessing over some random guy from a declining family.
Chongyunjin is absolutely ruthless here.
She looks at the report and basically roasts Jean into oblivion, saying she didn't think a martial artist could physically achieve that body shape.
She even says his eyes are buried in fat. Damn, girl, tell us how you really feel. She compares him to her teddy bear, which is not a compliment in this context. Seal ignores the shade. She is focused on the data. She tells Chongyunjin that she isn't interested in his past or his waistline, but in that one specific counterattack he used to drop his brother. She has the eye of a master, she saw potential where everyone else just saw a mess. Chongyunjin just sighs, realizing her friend's curiosity is incurable. Then we get a little lore drop on Seal. Chongyunjin asks why she hides her face behind those heavy bangs. Turns out, Seal is suffering from success, she is too beautiful, and men won't leave her alone if she shows her face. Chongyunjin is like, must be nice to have that problem, and tells her to keep hiding it because the attention sounds miserable. Fast forward to the big exile day. The clan is kicking Jean out to the front lines, basically a death sentence. But look who shows up, Sian Yona. She is literally the only person in this entire snake pit of a family who treats him like a human being. She hands him a farewell package while the clan leader gives some generic "don't embarrass us" speech. Inside the package? Rice balls. Yona made them herself. Jean is smiling, telling her she's the best, but look at the sweat drop on his face. He knows. We all know. Those rice balls probably taste like charcoal and despair, but he promises to eat them anyway because he is a good brother. The escort team is ready. These are unaffiliated warriors led by Zhang Kongsung. They are expecting to babysit a spoiled, lazy noble.
Jean stops the caravan immediately, and everyone is already annoyed, thinking he is going to complain about the weather or his seat cushion.
But then Jean drops a bomb. He tells them, I am walking. Actually, no, he says he is going to run. To Yunnan. The mercenaries look at his physique and are completely baffled.
They think he is joking.
Running thousands of miles? With that body?
They remind him they are on a schedule and don't have time for his weight loss journey.
Jean knows money talks. He offers his horse, a top-tier, expensive steed, to Zhang as compensation for the delay. He is basically bribing them to let him do cardio. Zhang is stunned because usually, nobles would rather die than give up their luxury ride. He tries to refuse, saying the horse is worth way more than their time. Zhang is trying to be an honest businessman, telling Jean he is getting ripped off. But Jean insists. This moment changes everything.
Zhang realizes the rumors were lies.
This kid isn't a scammer or a brat, he is honorable and wildly determined. The respect meter just went from 0 to 100. Jean drops some wisdom. He admits that if he keeps the horse, he will eventually give up and ride it when things get hard. By giving it away, he burns his bridges. He has to run now. Zhang shakes his hand, realizing he is escorting a man with a warrior spirit, even if the body hasn't caught up yet. And so the suffering begins. The text says it takes 3 days on horseback, which means on foot. This is absolute torture.
We aren't even 15 minutes in, and Jean is already on the ground, gasping for air.
Then comes the rainbow puke. He is literally vomiting up his weakness. It is gross, but you have to respect the grind. The mercenaries are looking at him like, is this guy gonna die? Jean wipes his mouth, stands up, and keeps moving. He collapses again, huffing and puffing, looking like a beached whale, but he refuses to stop. This is the training montage from hell. He is drenched in sweat, completely delirious. Suddenly, a hand appears with a handkerchief. It is Chongyunjin, the lady who roasted him earlier. She is smiling, offering him a cloth to wipe his face. The contrast between his dying face and her effortless beauty is hilarious. Jean recognizes her name immediately. The mercenaries are jaw-dropped.
They are thinking, why is this goddess talking to the sweaty guy? She tells him she has plenty of handkerchiefs and wishes him luck.
She even gives him a little wink.
The mercenaries are instantly jealous, wondering what kind of riz this guy has hidden under the layers.
Motivated by the interaction, Jean gets a second wind, which lasts about 5 seconds before he is dying again. Eventually, they stop for camp. It is dinner time. Jean pulls out Yona's rice balls. The mood is wholesome until he actually takes a bite. The mercenaries ask for some, but Jean refuses. Not because he is greedy, but because he is saving their lives. He admits his sister's cooking is lethal.
They laugh it off, thinking he is joking about a noble lady's skills.
They have no idea he is protecting them from biological warfare. And here is the proof. Jean drops a few crumbs, and we cut to the ground where birds and centipedes have literally dropped dead after eating the leftovers. This isn't food, it's poison. Jean sits there, realizing he has escaped a toxic family only to be nearly taken out by his sister's cooking. But hey, at least he is free. We start with a heavy realization. Jean is looking back at his past life and finally connecting the dots.
He used to think his sister Yonya looked at him with worry and care, but now that he has lived through the betrayal, he realizes those weren't the eyes of a loving family member.
Nope, those were the eyes of a snake looking at its prey. She never cared about him, she was just setting him up for the fall.
But there is no time to cry over spilled milk or evil sisters.
Jean knows that the one who actually killed Dan Hazong might be closer than he thought.
For now, he just has to be glad he understood his father's goodwill in time.
The betrayal stings, but it is fuel for the fire.
He has to survive, and to do that, he needs to get stronger, fast. The journey to the battlefield isn't a vacation, for Jean, it is a hellish boot camp. While the rest of the group is jogging, he is practically sprinting. When they stop to rest, he is swinging his sword until his arms feel like jelly. And at night? Sleep is for the weak. He spends the dark hours cultivating his internal energy with heart methods. He is pushing his body to the absolute breaking point because he knows exactly where they are heading, the land of death. Even the veteran mercenary, Zhang Kongsung, is looking at him like he is a total maniac. Zhang admits he has never seen anyone train with this kind of desperate intensity, almost like Jean is trying to outrun the Grim Reaper himself. Jean just laughs it off with that innocent face, saying he just wants to make sure he doesn't die. Classic deflection. But the peaceful training montage is about to get interrupted. An arrow comes flying out of the bushes, and suddenly the group is surrounded. Welcome to the neighborhood, courtesy of the local bandit welcoming committee. The mercenaries draw their blades, demanding to know who the insolent bastard is. But the bandits just laugh, mocking the soon-to-be corpses talking about respect. They step out from the shadows, telling everyone to throw down their weapons and surrender.
It is a classic shakedown, but these guys look a little more organized than your average roadside trash.
And here comes the boss battle. A massive dude with a giant axe steps out. This is Mac Gussum, the Green Tiger Godfather. The name sounds impressive, but the guy looks like he washes his face with mud.
Zhang recognizes the name immediately and realizes this isn't good.
Unlike the lackeys, this guy has actually learned proper martial arts. Zhang whispers to Jean to take a horse and run when the fighting starts, knowing they can't buy much time against a guy like this. But Jean isn't going anywhere. He is sizing up the competition. Zhang steps forward, trying the diplomatic approach, offering a toll to pass through. You know, standard business procedures. But Mac Gussum isn't interested in a few coins. He laughs in their faces, declaring that the toll is literally everything they have. Clothes, horses, swords. He wants them to strip naked and run away. His lackeys even start making creepy jokes about checking if their backsides are luscious. Yeah, that is an immediate death sentence right there.
Before Zhang can panic, Jean steps up with the confidence of a king.
He shouts, demanding if they dare attack the third son of the Xianhua clan. It is a bold-faced lie, but he sells it with so much arrogance that even the bandits pause. He calls Mac Gussum out by name, asking if he really wants to dig his own grave by attacking a noble house. The bandits are confused. Attacking a major clan heir is suicide. Jean doubles down, pulling out a shiny bronze emblem from his pocket. He claims it is the clan's symbol and proof of his identity. The bandit boss is skeptical but greedy. He wants to verify the goods before he decides whether to kill them or bow down. Mac Gussum demands Jean toss the token over. Jean agrees but warns him to return it once he is done looking. He winds up and throws the golden object through the air. The bandit's eyes are glued to the shiny metal, completely distracted by the prospect of holding a noble seal. And that is the moment Jean was waiting for.
As the bandit catches the token, he realizes too late that it isn't a royal seal. It is a coupon for the Giang restaurant.
While the idiot is staring at a discount voucher for dumplings, Jean has already closed the distance. He isn't playing fair, he is playing to win. Jean launches a strike that would make an assassin blush. The bandit tries to block with his axe handle, but Jin's sword is faster and heavier than it looks. The impact is brutal. Jean doesn't stop there, he follows up with a seamless combination, using the bandit's confusion to bypass his defenses entirely.
It is a bloodbath.
Jin's blade finds its mark, and the so-called Green Tiger Godfather goes down with a look of pure shock on his face.
The lackeys scream in panic, realizing their boss just got folded by a kid.
They shout that it was a surprise attack, but in the martial world, the only thing that matters is who is still standing. Jean doesn't give them a second to breathe. He dives into the mob, his sword moving like a blur. He is cutting through them with a terrifying level of precision. To the mercenaries watching, it looks like a slaughter. To Jean, it feels like coming home. His body and soul are rejoicing in the familiar rhythm of combat. Once the dust settles and the last bandit drops, the adrenaline crash hits hard. Jean collapses on the ground, complaining about being tired. The mercenaries just stare at him in awe.
Zhang looks at the pile of corpses and then at the panting kid, wondering what the hell just happened. Zhang asks the question everyone is thinking. Are you a martial master who drank a youth potion? It sounds crazy, but Jin's skills were too clean for a rookie.
Jean laughs it off, claiming he is just a second-rate warrior who managed to gather 20 years of chi. He has to keep his true potential under wraps.
Then comes the sad reveal.
Jean asks what heart method Zhang uses. The old veteran proudly says he uses the 6 Unions heart method. Jean has to hold back a grimace. That is literally a third-rate manual you can buy at any used bookstore. It is the martial arts equivalent of learning karate from a YouTube video. Jean looks at Zhang with genuine pity. The man worked hard for 40 years, but because he was poor and lacked connections, he was stuck with trash techniques.
It reminds Jean of his own past life, begging for scraps of power. It is a harsh reminder that in this world, effort means nothing without the right resources.
After that bloody interlude, the group runs for 9 straight days. They finally arrive in Yunnan province, the gateway to the blood demon cult battlefront.
The architecture is stunning, but the vibe is heavy. They made it alive, which is more than most people can say. To celebrate surviving the trip, Jean decides to play the generous young master role for real. He takes the whole squad to a fancy inn and buys a round of drinks. The mercenaries are loving it, praising the Xianwu clan heir for his generosity. Zhang talks about his kids and retirement, which is basically tripping every death flag in existence. They are joking around, telling Zhang to wipe that jealous look off his face because there is a beautiful lady in the room. Jean glances over and freezes. It is her. The mysterious woman he saw earlier has just walked into the inn.
And judging by the look in her eyes, she definitely isn't here for the happy hour specials. Just when the boys thought they could enjoy a peaceful drink without any drama, Chong Yinjin, that mysterious beauty from the road, decides to crash the party.
She casually slides into the booth like she owns the place, leaving the mercenaries grinning like idiots. But knowing this story, whenever a pretty girl shows up unannounced, things are about to get complicated. The pleasantries do not last long because she immediately drops a nuclear bombshell on the group. With a straight face, she announces that she intends to volunteer for the front lines of the war. The table goes dead silent. The mercenaries look at her like she has grown a second head, because the front lines are basically a meat grinder where martial artists go to die, not a vacation spot for volunteers.
While the old guys are losing their minds over her death wish, Chong Yinjin shifts her gaze to our protagonist, Jean.
She points out the elephant in the room, or rather, the lack of one. She notices that Jean has shed a massive amount of weight. Jean just laughs it off, admitting that his training regime has been absolute hell, but hey, at least he does not look like a walking bao bun anymore. The mood lightens up as the mercenaries start hyping up Jin's glow up, roasting him for hiding such a handsome face under all that blubber for so long. They are practically patting him on the back for becoming a certified stud. Chong Yinjin plays it cool, accepting a drink, but then immediately excuses herself to get some fresh air. It seems the sight of the new, slim Jean is making her feel some type of way.
Once she is outside and alone, the truth comes out, and it is absolutely hilarious.
She sighs deeply, admitting to herself that she actually preferred the old Jean. It turns out this lethal warrior has a secret fetish for chubby guys. She reminisces about his squishy cheeks, comparing him to a teddy bear she named Dumpling. I cannot believe it, she is literally disappointed that he got hot. The monologue gets even crazier as she reveals she has been full-on stalking him.
She dug into his past, found out about his background, and followed the group specifically to protect him from the blood cult.
She remembers watching him waddle around, barely able to walk for 15 minutes without collapsing, and apparently, that pathetic display just triggered her protective instincts. She basically adopted him in her head because he was so helpless and cute.
But now that he has turned into a legitimate warrior who can handle himself, she realizes her services are no longer required. She decides to pack it up and head home tomorrow, thinking her job as the secret bodyguard is done.
Talk about a weird reason to join a party, but I respect the dedication.
But because the universe hates peace and quiet, her reflective moment is shattered by a blood-curdling scream from the darkness.
Chong Yinjin's instincts kick in instantly, and she spots a shadow moving with terrifying speed.
Before she can even process what is happening, an unidentified attacker launches a strike that screams, "I am here to kill everyone," forcing her to dodge for her life.
This is not just some bandit, this thing is a monster. A massive, hulking figure lunges at her, showing absolutely no intention of defending himself. He is all offense, swinging a blade with enough force to cleave a mountain in half.
Chongyunjin realizes immediately that a single mistake here means instant death.
She is struggling to keep up with the sheer ferocity of the attacks. The enemy is fast, impossibly fast. Sparks fly as she barely deflects the blows, her face pale with the realization that this opponent is on a completely different level. The sheer pressure is overwhelming, and she is being pushed back with every strike. As the dust settles for a split second, she finally gets a good look at her attacker, and her reaction is priceless. It is a stark naked, muscle-bound freak of nature.
Chongyunjin's internal monologue switches from terror to confusion as she wonders if she is fighting a legendary warrior, or just a high-level pervert who forgot his pants.
But seeing that insane physique, she knows this pervert hits like a truck. The noise draws the rest of the party out, and the mercenaries rush in to help, completely unaware that they are running straight into a slaughter. Chongyunjin tries to hold the line, her sword glowing with blue energy as she unleashes her techniques, but the naked giant just tanks through the pressure like it is nothing. One of the mercenaries, Brother Yang, decides to be a hero.
He sees Chongyunjin in trouble and charges in, thinking he can flank the enemy.
It is the classic "I can take him" mistake that always ends badly in these stories. Chongyunjin barely has time to register his presence before the monster shifts his attention to the new target. It happens in the blink of an eye. The monster's blade moves so fast it is basically invisible. Brother Yang's sword shatters like glass, and before the poor guy can even look surprised, he is cut down. It is brutal, efficient, and absolutely terrifying. 1 second he is fighting, the next second he is on the ground, bleeding out. The most disturbing part? The attacker flashes a twisted, insane grin as he kills.
This guy is enjoying it.
Chongyunjin is frozen in horror, realizing that this is not a fight they can win in the open. They are up against a predator that treats human lives like cheap toys. Jin and Zhang Kongsung rush out just in time to see the aftermath.
Zhang screams for everyone to get back inside the inn, realizing that staying out here is a death sentence.
Brother Yang is gone, and there is no time to mourn because the monster is already charging up for round 2.
The group scrambles in a panic, barely managing to retreat as the demon pursues them with relentless aggression.
Chongyunjin is shaken to her core, her earlier confidence completely shattered.
They slam the doors shut, but the fear in their eyes says it all. They are trapped, they are outmatched, and the night has only just begun.
We start straight in the danger zone. This blue-haired girl is about to get sliced in half, but our boy Jin pulls her back just in time. But look at this absolute psycho attacking them. He is swinging a blade the size of a surfboard, yet he hasn't opened his eyes once. That is some serious disrespect. Jin isn't just standing there trembling like the rest of these NPCs. His brain is working overtime.
He realizes this smiling maniac isn't just trying to look cool by fighting with his eyes closed. The guy is actually blind.
He is relying on other senses to hunt them down. But don't let the blindness fool you. This guy is a walking meat grinder. The moment he hears a noise, he dashes forward with terrifying speed. He is literally grinning while he turns the inn into a horror movie set. The mercenaries in the room are absolutely useless.
One guy screams, and instantly, he gets turned into a fountain of blood.
Jin tries to warn them, shouting no, Yiga, but it is too late. The monster is just swatting trained fighters like they are annoying mosquitoes. A mercenary tries to step up, shaking like a leaf, asking where this monster came from. Bad move, buddy. The beast doesn't answer questions, he just delivers a one-way ticket to the afterlife, smashing the guy through a table.
Everyone is losing their minds.
Zhang Kongsung is screaming for the owner to call the guards, but let's be real, the guards aren't getting here in time to save anyone.
The monster is crouching down, looking like a predator ready to launch at the next sound he hears. It is absolute chaos. People are running around like headless chickens, and naturally, someone trips and knocks over a vase. The sound rings out like a dinner bell, and the monster's head snaps toward the noise instantly. Jin has seen enough of this amateur hour.
He realizes that if they keep screaming and running, they are all dead meat. He steps up and screams for everyone to shut their mouths immediately, his voice cutting through the panic.
The monster pauses, confused by the sudden command. Jean uses the momentary distraction to analyze the situation. He knows exactly how this mechanic works now.
The enemy is a human bat, echolocating his victims through their screams and footsteps.
The survivors finally get the memo and start covering their mouths, terrified to even whimper. But the monster isn't done. He launches another attack, and Jean has to physically intervene, leaping into the air with blue energy flaring around him to deflect the blow. Jean blocks the strike, sparks flying everywhere. He lands gracefully while the massive brute recoils. It is a temporary save, but at least the girl is still in one piece. Jean is carrying this entire team on his back right now. He stands his ground, demanding an explanation, but he knows there is no time for a chat.
He turns to the group and drops the hard truth on them.
The monster finds them through sound.
If they want to live, they need to stop acting like screaming toddlers.
The instruction is simple: do not make a single noise. Not even when you breathe. The terrified guests clamp their hands over their mouths, realizing that a single cough is basically a suicide note. But Jean knows this silence is just a temporary fix. This predator isn't stupid.
Once he realizes he can't hear them, he is going to switch to his sense of smell.
And considering everyone is sweating buckets of fear, they are going to be easy to find.
Jean needs to end this now. While the monster is distracted by Chongyunjin's presence, Jean spots a bowl of coins on a table. A plan forms in his head. He needs to scramble the enemy's radar completely. He grabs the coins, signaling the girl to stay put. It is time to make it rain. Jean throws the coins into the air with perfect precision. They scatter everywhere, hitting the floor, the tables, and the walls all at once. The room erupts in a chaotic symphony of clinking metal. It works like a charm. The sound is coming from every direction, completely overloading the monster's hearing. The beast stands there, frozen and confused, unable to pinpoint a target amidst the noise. This is the opening Jean needed. Jean starts moving in for the kill. He has to be silent and perfect. His current body is weak trash. If that monster even grazes him with a finger, he is going to be torn to shreds. He creeps closer, literally inches away from death. The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. He is right there. And then, because the universe loves a cruel joke, one of the terrified villagers lets out a loud, repetitive hiccup. You have got to be kidding me. The sound cuts through the room like a gunshot. The monster's ear twitches, and his head snaps directly toward them. Jean freezes, staring right into the face of the beast. The plan just went sideways, and things are about to get very ugly. We start exactly where we left off, with our boy realizing that brute force isn't going to cut it against this absolute unit. This muscle-bound freak is literally laughing off sword attacks like they are tickles. Our protagonist is sweating bullets because he knows he is backed into a corner, and usually, that is when people die. But this is a manhwa, so instead of dying, he starts looking for the one spot this tank forgot to armor up. And there it is. The classic video game weak point.
While everyone else is panicking, RMC notices that even if your skin is made of steel, your insides are still squishy.
The monster opens its mouth to roar, probably thinking it has already won. But that ego is about to be its downfall.
Our blue-haired swordsman locks in, realizing that if he can't cut the skin, he just needs to perform some aggressive dentistry. It is game over. He charges up that blue sword chi and dives straight in. He doesn't hesitate for a second, plunging the blade right down the monster's throat. It is brutal, effective, and honestly a little gross, but it gets the job done. The giant finally stops twitching, and just like that, the unkillable beast is turned into a corpse on the floor. With the adrenaline fading, the reality of the situation sets in. He checks on his fallen comrade, making sure the threat is actually gone. The tension in the room evaporates, replaced by the heavy breathing of survivors who can't believe they actually made it through the night. The sun rises on a new day, and the cleanup begins. Bodies are wrapped, and the mercenaries prepare to move on. It is time for RMC to part ways with the group. He is a busy man with places to be, specifically a war zone, so he can't stick around playing bodyguard forever.
The mercenaries are sad to see him go, wishing him luck and health, which is nice, but luck doesn't stop swords.
Before he dips, RMC decides to drop a parting gift that is worth more than their entire life savings. He hands over 3 handwritten volumes of martial arts manuals. Zhang looks at the books like he is holding an alien artifact. He recognizes the name Preservation Heart Method and nearly has a heart attack himself. This isn't just a manual, it is a ticket to the big leagues. Let's pause to appreciate how broken this gift is. In his past life, this specific technique allowed RMC to speedrun 60 years of internal chi cultivation in less than a decade. It is essentially a cheat code for power leveling. He is casually handing over a secret technique that could start wars between clans, just because he felt like adding some sword forms to the back of the book. Zhang is freaking out, asking why a noble heir would give something so precious to a bunch of random mercenaries. And here comes the smooth line. RMC hits him with the "Are we not friends?" card. He says they fought for their lives together, so the secrets of his clan don't matter compared to their bond. The charisma stat is maxed out right here. That level of generosity changes a man. Zhang clutches the book and vows that he won't waste this chance. He promises to train until he becomes a first-rate martial artist so they can drink together as equals next time. RMC walks away into the sunrise, leaving behind a group of warriors who would probably die for him now. That is how you build a loyal fan club. Meanwhile, we cut to the mysterious Lady Chongyunjin and her bodyguard walking through the woods. The guard is still skeptical, questioning if a delicate flower like her should really be heading to the front lines where monsters ignore sword chi. He is basically telling her she is going to get folded like a lawn chair if she goes there. But she shuts him down with some cold hard facts. She knows exactly what is happening out there. People are being eaten alive while fighting for their survival.
She realizes that turning back now would be an insult to her own martial arts.
She isn't doing this for glory, she is doing it because she has a conscience, which is rare in this world.
The guard realizes he messed up.
He was treating her like a fragile noble lady instead of a warrior.
He sees the conviction in her eyes and realizes his mistake.
He apologizes deeply, admitting he misjudged her resolve. It is a nice moment of respect before we inevitably cut to something horrible happening.
She accepts the apology with a smile that could melt ice, proving she is classy as well as tough.
The guard acknowledges her as a true master, and they continue their journey.
But don't get too comfortable with the wholesome vibes, because the location card just dropped, and we are heading to the Blood Demon cult battlefield in Yunnan.
And boom, we are immediately thrown into the horror show. A soldier gets hooked like a fish and dragged into the darkness. It is instant chaos. The vibe shifts from heroic journey to a slasher movie in seconds as the ambush begins. Enter the villains, and wow, they are ugly. We have the twin side's 7 misfortunes, G-Mac and Gu Yojil. These guys look like they haven't showered in a decade and their personality is somehow worse. They are actively drooling over the female fighter, proving that being a villain and being a creep usually go hand in hand. The creep factor increases as they start taunting their prey. One of the soldiers manages to fire off a red flare, signaling for help, but these scythe-wielding psychos don't seem worried. In fact, they look excited to capture a wench before they leave. Red flags are flying everywhere. The villains launch their attack from the trees, descending like vultures.
The soldiers try to form a defense formation, but the panic is setting in.
The bad guys are laughing maniacally, enjoying the slaughter a little too much.
It is looking bleak for the good guys. The clash is brutal. Sparks fly as swords meet scythes, but the soldiers are clearly outmatched. They are shouting for everyone to hang in there because the squad leader is coming. That is the classic hold the line until the real main character shows up strategy. The creepy old man is having the time of his life, swinging his weapon and mocking the weaklings. The soldiers are exhausted, panting for breath, barely deflecting the attacks. They are getting whittled down, and the enemy knows it. Just when all hope seems lost, a sound cuts through the air. The villain pauses, sensing something dangerous. From the sky, a figure descends with epic flair. It is the Dansong Hawk, Ma Yugiam, looking absolutely majestic with his flowing hair and intense red eyes. The fourth squad leader has arrived to clean up the trash, and not a moment too soon. The tides of battle are flipping faster than a politician's promise.
Just when the demonic forces thought they had this in the bag, the fourth squad leader, Mayugium, aka the Diensong Hawk, drops in from the sky like a main character.
The sheer panic on the enemy's faces is absolutely delicious.
You know it is over for the bad guys when the big names start popping up.
Panic is spreading like a virus among the demonic ranks, but the nightmare is just starting.
Enter Tang Yoyan of the Tang clan, slicing through the noise with her sharp blades. She is not here to play nice, and she is looking fierce while doing it.
Of course, these absolute creeps see a high-ranking lady trying to make a tactical retreat and immediately think, "Let us kidnap her." The demonic leaders are chasing Tang Yoyan down like hungry dogs, hoping to snag her as a prize amidst the chaos.
Disgusting behavior, honestly. Tang Yoyan is running for it, but these guys are relentless.
They think they have found a weak link, but little do they know they are chasing a tiger, not a kitten.
Still, the numbers game is not in her favor right now.
Just when these trash-tier villains think they have got her cornered, reality hits them in the face.
Sa Gyunil, the Diensong dragon and vice squad leader, swoops in to save the day. He is not just fighting, he is literally unlocking her chi flow and stabilizing her condition mid-battle. That is some next-level support. Surprise, idiots.
The demonic forces suddenly realize they walk straight into a lethal trap.
The 13th Soaring Dragon Corps captain, Feng Yang, steps onto the scene, mocking them for being so slow on the uptake. You can practically hear the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme song playing for the bad guys right now. The reinforcements just keep coming. It is an all-you-can-beat buffet for the good guys now. The Azure Gust Sword Dragon, Han Jiasung, joins the chat, helping his fellow leaders corner the surviving demonic enemies. The battlefield is getting crowded with legends, and the demons are shaking in their boots. Seeing that they are completely outmatched by this Avengers-level assembly of elite squad leaders, the demonic brothers make the only smart choice they have made all day: they run away.
They are beating a hasty retreat while screaming the classic "I will get my revenge" line.
Yeah, sure you will, buddy. But victory is never free in this brutal world. A somber mood settles over the soldiers as the adrenaline fades. They are mourning the tragic loss of their fallen comrade, Zhang Lang.
It is a heavy moment that reminds everyone that war actually sucks, no matter how cool the moves are.
And here comes the drama. Seal Peng finally arrives at the scene, probably expecting a good job, but instead, he gets a face full of fury.
Mayugium is absolutely losing it, enraged that Seal Peng showed up late.
He is grabbing him by the collar like a schoolyard bully. Mayugium is not holding back. He is blaming Seal Peng for the missed opportunity to slay the demonic leaders, calling him an irresponsible and lowly soldier. He straight up says a commoner who rose through the ranks never deserved to be a squad leader. Wow, classism much? What a toxic coworker. Thankfully, someone has a brain. The vice leader of the 7th squad steps in to defend our boy Seal Peng. She reveals that their unit did not stop for coffee, they were delayed by a brutal ambush while rushing to the main battle. Facts matter, people. While the main force was having their party, Seal Peng's squad was fighting for their lives against 5 cunning spirits and a hidden spider spirit that had been lying in wait. That is not a delay, that is a whole separate boss fight they had to handle on their own. The cost was heavy. 2 members of the 7th squad lost their lives while Seal Peng fought desperately to eliminate these nightmares. They explained that spider spirits are top-tier threats because they grow stronger by absorbing people's essence. You have to kill them on sight, or things get ugly fast. Captain Feng Yang hears this and orders Mayugium to apologize for his trash talk. But Seal Peng? He is too humble for his own good. He stops the apology, claiming he understands that the 4th squad leader is just grieving over his own losses. The man is a saint, I swear. Seal Peng takes the insults with grace, but Tang Yoyan is having none of this soft attitude. She looks him dead in the eye and warns him that acting too soft will only make it harder for his squad members to be respected. You cannot be a doormat in the Murim world, or people will walk all over you. She has a point. If you let people treat you like trash, they will treat your subordinates like trash too. Seo Pung seems to take the critique to heart, apologizing to her as well. He really needs to work on his self-esteem, honestly. Despite the tension between the leaders, the chapter ends on a hopeful note. The captain announces that fresh new recruits are scheduled to arrive at the battlefront this very day. Fresh meat is incoming. Let us hope they survive longer than 5 minutes in this hellhole.
Welcome to the Great Blood Demon Cult battlefield, specifically the second headquarters in Yunnan.
It sounds majestic, but honestly, it is just a death trap waiting to happen. Our boy Jean is sitting in the waiting room, and he notices something extremely concerning. The recruits for the 13th Corps are basically toddlers. Okay, not toddlers, but way too young to be fighting demons. Jean remembers this from his past life. The 13th Corps is a meat grinder.
The survival rate is so low that the average age keeps dropping because the veterans either die or get the hell out.
It is a grim reality check before the job even starts. You might ask, why don't the skilled masters volunteer? Because there is zero clout to be chased here. No money, no fame, and a strict vow of secrecy means you could save the world and nobody would ever know. It is a thankless job for the desperate or the crazy. Speaking of desperate, enter Vice Captain Hyun Yanbo, also known as the Swift Falcon Sword. He strolls in with his goatee and robes, expecting everyone to bow down and worship his title. He hits them with the classic "you know who I am, right?" line. Cringe level is over 9,000. And then, we witness a murder by words. The blue-haired queen, Chong Yunjin, looks him dead in the eye and says she has never heard of him. She claims she memorized every expert in the pinnacle realm, implying this guy is too irrelevant to make the list. The emotional damage is critical.
The vice captain is fuming, trying to hold back his rage while his ego crumbles.
He decides to just move on to the squad assignments before he bursts a blood vessel.
He calls out Seonwoo Jin, and then moves to the next recruit, Cheonjun. This is where things get spicy. Cheonjun is the daughter of the Guizhou Deadly Guardians. For those who do not know, that is an unorthodox sect. The vice captain is confused why a villain-adjacent character is volunteering for the Alliance frontlines, but he is too stunned to question it deeply. Then he gets back to Chong Yunjin. He asks for her family background and sect, but she refuses to speak. She just stonewalls him. The vice captain snaps, telling her that people with unverified identities can't join. He is about to kick her out just to satisfy his bruised ego.
Jean realizes he needs to step in before his future ally gets booted.
He drops a massive lie, claiming that Chong Yunjin is besties with Jae Galseal, the Heavenly Wisdom Sword. He implies she is a VIP on a secret mission from the higher-ups. It is a bold bluff, but he sells it perfectly. The vice captain's face goes pale. The mention of the Jae-gal clan and the Alliance strategist terrifies him. He immediately backpedals, assuming this girl is way above his pay grade.
Jean laughs internally, realizing that bureaucracy and fear are the strongest weapons in this place.
Crisis averted, they are led to the quarters of the 7th Squad. This place gives Jean major PTSD. In his past life, he spent 7 miserable years here. He remembers the bullying, the beatings, and the absolute despair. It wasn't the demons that made him want to end it all, it was his own teammates. The vice captain warns them that the veterans might try to shake them down, which is code for hazing. They walk in, and the vibe is instantly toxic. The squad members spot Jean and their eyes light up like predators spotting a wounded gazelle. They recognize him immediately as the pig of the Seonwood clan. They bring up his past humiliation, laughing about how he got beaten by his little brother. But Jean is different now. He walks in with a calm smirk, ready to rewrite history. The squad leader and his goons surround him. They are confused because Jean has lost a ton of weight and actually looks like a human being now. But instead of being impressed, they just use it as more fuel for their insults. One guy, Hamu Jin, decides to be the main antagonist of the day. He gets right in Jin's face and says, "If you want to act as bait for the demons, shouldn't you fatten yourself back up?" That is a massive red flag. You do not tell the main character to be monster bait unless you have a death wish.
Jean looks at him with a smile that screams danger.
He politely grabs Mujin's hand and says, "Nice to meet you." Mujin is confused, thinking Jean is submitting, but he is about to find out why you never touch a sleeping dragon.
Snap. Jean twists the guy's wrist with zero effort. The sound of bones crunching echoes through the room. Before Mujin can even process the pain, Jean sweeps his legs and slams him into the floor. The disrespect has been returned tenfold. Jean doesn't stop there. He delivers a brutal strike, folding Mujin like a cheap lawn chair. The rest of the squad watches in horror as the guy they called a retard absolutely dismantles their friend. The physical difference between past Jean and current Jean is terrifying. Mujin is lying on the floor, questioning his life choices. Jean dusts off his hands and looks around the room with a psychotic grin. He asks, "What am I doing?" "You said I was a retard, so I am just acting out." He is ready to throw hands with the entire squad right now. Just as Jean is contemplating whether to beat everyone else up for fairness, the door slides open. A man with slicked back green hair walks in. The atmosphere shifts instantly. The top dog has arrived, and he demands to know why his squad room looks like a crime scene. The atmosphere in the barracks just went from 0 to 100 real quick. Enter Ju Taegyang, the squad's so-called top dog, looking like he just stepped in something nasty and demanding to know why his precious dojo looks like a bar fight. But our boy Jean? He is just standing there, looking like an innocent dumpling, completely unbothered by the towering presence of this green-haired Karen. Jean hits him with the classic polite bow, introducing himself as the new guy on Team 7. He explains with a straight face that he was just returning the energetic greeting his teammates gave him. You know, by knocking them out cold. Look at this guy on the floor, he is sleeping like a baby. Jean really said, talk smack, get smacked, and I respect the hustle. But here is the tea. Jean recognizes this guy. He is Ju Taegyang from the Diansong sect. In Jin's past life, this dude was the definition of a toxic coworker. He had an ego bigger than the sect itself and was basically a cancerous tumor on the team. He hated the fact that he was just a regular member and made everyone's life a living hell.
A wave of pure rage washes over Jean.
He remembers that in the previous timeline, his first love died a completely unnecessary death, and it was all because of this guy's incompetence and arrogance. That is a heavy grudge to hold. Jean clenches his fist, swearing that this time around, things are going to be different. He might be a first-rate martial artist, but Jean is about to humble him. Even though Jean admits he is currently only second-rate in terms of power, he is not sweating it. He sees the two female newcomers trembling in the back, but he is focused on the prize. He asks Taegyang if he wants to grab dinner with them, completely ignoring the tension.
Taegyang looks like he is about to pop a blood vessel.
Then Jean drops the bomb. He hits him with the, "Alright, I forgot you are the leader," followed immediately by using his cringy nickname, Diansong Sword Snake. You can literally see the moment Taegyang's soul leaves his body from the disrespect. He grips his sword handle so hard I am surprised it didn't shatter. Asking, "What did you just say to me?" is villain speak for "I am about to throw a tantrum." Jean doubles down, laughing in his face and repeating the title. "Isn't that your title?" The audacity. Taegyang decides right then and there that Jean needs to die. He starts drawing his blade, ready to slice up a teammate over a nickname. Talk about fragile masculinity.
But before blood spills, Seal Pung, the actual squad leader and certified cool guy, steps in.
He blocks the path and tells Taegyang to chill out. Seal Pung warns him that drawing a sword on a comrade is crossing a line, even for a disciple of a great sect. Finally, someone with a brain cell in this room. Taegyang tries to argue, saying a second-rate scrub like Jean should pay the price for insulting a first-rate elite. But Seal Pung is not having it. He shuts him down cold.
You can tell Taegyang is furious that his authority is being checked in front of the newbies.
Jean decides to pour more gasoline on the fire.
He apologizes with the most insincere smile I have ever seen, saying, "My bad. I treated you harshly despite you being just a first-rate." He then roasts Taegyang by implying he is nowhere near the team leader's skill level.
The disrespect is astronomical. Taekyung is stuttering, he is so mad. Jin keeps the combo going. He laughs and tells his new buddies, "We got a good one," referring to the leader.
Then he turns back to Taekyung and says, "I think I only need a month or two to catch up to you." The entire room freezes.
Taekyung's eyes go red. He asks if Jin can take responsibility for running his mouth like that.
Jean smiles like a Cheshire cat and says, "If I could, then what?" He extends the timeline to 3 months just to be generous.
Taekyung snaps and issues a deathmatch challenge, "Fight me after 3 months. If you lose, you die." This guy really wants to murder his coworker over a workplace dispute. HR would have a field day with this. Jin asks, "What if I win?" Taekyung laughs, saying he would die too. But Jin shakes his head like a disappointed parent.
"We can't have that, we are colleagues." He proposes a fate worse than death for a guy with an ego this big. "If I win, I become your senior." He wants to structurally dominate him in the hierarchy.
That is savage. Taekyung grinds his teeth so hard he probably needs a dentist, but he agrees.
As you wish. He storms off, probably to go scream into a pillow, leaving the trio behind.
He turns back one last time to glare, but the damage is done.
The bet is on. As Taekyung leaves, he warns Jin that he will regret his big mouth. The other lackeys limp away with him, terrified. The trash has taken itself out. Now it is just Jin and the two people he actually cares about. Bai Seong and Bae Jongwon immediately run up to Jin, basically fanboying over how he handled that snake. Jin introduces himself properly and asks to be friends.
He grabs Seong by the shoulders and says, "I think I am gonna grow to like you very much." It is wholesome but also a little intense.
Internally, Jin is going through it. He reveals that Bai Seong is from a sect destroyed by a massacre, and Ju Taekyung was involved in that mess. But more importantly, these two, Seong and Jongwon, were his best friends in his past life. Seeing them alive again hits him right in the feels. He looks at them with pure determination. In the last timeline, they died. This time? Not on his watch. He vows to protect them no matter what. He turns to the team leader, Seol Pung, with a serious request. "Are you sure you will be alright?" Pung asks. Jin knows Taekyung is dangerous despite the insults. He needs to get strong, fast. He asks Seol Pung to train him until he is at the brink of death. He is fully prepared to suffer. He also asks the leader to drop the formalities and talk casually. He is speedrunning the friendship levels.
Seol Pung agrees, but warns him, "I will train you until you wish you were dead." Jin just smiles.
But then he drops the bomb on his friends. "You guys are joining this time too." They look at him like, "Excuse me? Who is we?" The friends try to bail immediately, saying only peak martial artists should do that kind of training. But Jin is not hearing it. He has already been through this hell in his past life, and he is dragging them with him for their own survival.
He hits Seong with the "I thought you were a real man" card.
Then he turns to Jongwon and uses reverse psychology. "I guess you are not so confident after all." Jongwon twitches. The bait is taken. He stammers that he is confident about everything. Jin has these guys wrapped around his finger. They are trapped. Jongwon tries to make an excuse about having a dream to crush demonic artists with external arts, hoping that will get him out of it. He puffs his chest out, trying to look busy with his own goals.
Jin, the master manipulator, gasps in fake awe.
External arts to destroy demons. That is so cool. I would love to learn too. He starts hyping Jongwon up, acting like a total fanboy. Jongwon is blushing, completely disarmed by the praise. Seol Pung watches this happen, confused. He remembers Jongwon saying he wanted to compete over who has sturdier skin, not this noble dream. Jin whispers that he was lying about being impressed, but he knows exactly how to handle this guy. He needs to feed Jongwon's ego to get him to train. Jin paints a picture for him. "My goal is to fly and charge into a demonic artist like a cannon. He describes the move, Steel Physique Meteor. Jongwon's eyes light up. He is imagining himself body slamming demons from the sky. The hook, line, and sinker have been swallowed. Jin seals the deal with the name. Steel Physique Meteor. It sounds cool, it sounds powerful, and Jongwon is sold. He is sweating, but he is in.
Jean smiles menacingly.
It's done. He has successfully recruited his friends, for the training arc. The next day, the hell training begins. They are out in the woods, jumping through trees. Jongwon is huffing and puffing, trying to act tough, saying this is nothing, while sweating buckets. Jin is watching from the back.
Jin thinks to himself, "It is a piece of cake since I have already been through this." He is feeling confident.
He takes a leap, shouting this is easy, expecting his body to move like his past self. He forgets one crucial detail. Snap. The branch breaks under his weight. He is not the legendary warrior right now, he is the chubby newcomer. Gravity takes over, and down he goes. He crashes through the branches and hits the ground hard. He lays there, looking at the sky, realizing he made a huge miscalculation. Did I start training after I lost weight? Nope. Welcome to the grind, buddy. You have got 3 months, and right now, the tree is winning. We start deep in the woods at dawn, whereby Seong is having a serious existential crisis. It has been a month since the training from hell began, and my guy is reflecting on his tragic backstory. He used to be a disciple of the fallen Bijong sect, basically a nobody who got slapped around by life and arrogant jerks like Ju Taegyung. Back then, Seong was just a second-rate martial artist with zero riz and even less power. He lost his sect's secret techniques and couldn't even defeat a single demonic human. He was living in a constant state of pity and defeat, watching his elders die for their greed while he stood there uselessly. Truly a depressing resume. But then, the timeline shifted. Seonwoo Jin, our chaotic protagonist, joined the squad and decided that following rules was for losers. Jin's absolute disregard for authority and his beef with Taegyung on day one was the spark Seong needed. Seeing someone that crazy actually liberated him, and like a moth to a very dangerous flame, he signed up for Jin's insane training regimen. Fast forward to the present, and Seong is regretting every life choice that led him here. He is literally dying.
His lungs are burning, his legs are jelly, and he realizes he agreed to something stupid. He tries to use his qigong to cheat the system, thinking he is slick because he specializes in footwork.
But nope. Jin is right there, running like a steam engine.
Seong is shook because he thought his movement speed was top tier, but he can barely keep up with the team leader.
And the worst part? Jin isn't even breaking a sweat, while Seong looks like he is about to ascend to the afterlife. Just to rub salt in the wound, Jin starts laughing like a maniac. Suddenly, pieces of his gear start flying off. It turns out this absolute unit has been wearing weighted iron armor the entire time. He is shedding layers like a tank shedding armor plates, and he is still faster than Seong. The disrespect is palpable. Seong notices something even crazier. While carrying all that extra weight, Jin is actually mimicking the Bijong foot technique. The guy claims he never learned it, yet here he is, copying it perfectly after just 3 days.
Seong realizes he cannot lose to a guy who is literally learning his own family style on the fly.
Then comes the offer.
Jean, with that terrifyingly friendly smile, offers a trade, teach him the footwork properly, and he will give Seong a cultivation technique in return.
This is the first time anyone has actually respected the Bijong arts instead of treating them like trash. It is a bro moment, but also, Jean is terrifying. The training montage kicks into high gear. It is a relentless cycle of running, weapons training, and external arts. Even Na Xiaoyu is out here sweating buckets.
The squad is bonding through mutual suffering, getting absolutely shredded while Jean stands there looking like a proud, sadistic father figure.
Evenings are for dueling, and by the next day, they do it all over again.
The team is screaming in agony, begging for mercy, but the grind never stops.
Jean just keeps increasing the weights because apparently, he is allergic to taking it easy. Jean takes a moment to chat with Na Xiaoyu. He remembers his past life where everyone called him a pig and bullied him, but she was the only one who treated him like a human being. That kindness is why he is so obsessed with getting stronger now. He failed to protect her before, and he refuses to let her die this time. Major simp energy, but the wholesome kind. This motivation fuels his meditation. He is not just training his body, he is hardening his soul. The guilt of his past failure is the ultimate pre-workout supplement. He watches her meditate, swearing internally that things will be different. The competitive spirit is infectious. Chongyunjin, seeing everyone else leveling up, decides she cannot be left behind and joins the external arts training too. Meanwhile, Jean is using his photographic memory to speedrun mastering the ultimate primordial unity arts. He is learning at a pace that makes his past self look like a toddler. Jean then pulls a fast one on Zhongwan. He hands him a cultivation technique from the Shaolin temple but lies and calls it the Divine Indestructible Vajra sect just to boost the guy's morale. He literally invents a fake sect just to gas up his teammate. It is manipulative, sure, but the results speak for themselves. Everyone is getting stronger. 2 months fly by. The squad is glowing with new power, but Jean starts feeling a cold dread. He remembers the timeline. In his past life, right around now, 50 demons launched a surprise attack. The soaring dragon corps, inexperienced and unprepared, was completely wiped out. It was a massacre. Even though Jean is stronger now, he feels powerless. He knows the disaster is coming, but his current rank is too low to warn the higher-ups without looking insane. He is trapped in a future he can see but might not be able to stop. It is frustrating, and the pressure is building. The tension breaks for a second with some comedy. Squad leader Seol Pung is fighting for his life. Against mosquitoes. He is swatting at the air like a madman, complaining about being popular with bugs instead of women. It is a rare moment of peace before the storm. The squad starts roasting Seol Pung. They compare his title, which has monkey in it, to other cool leaders who get dragon titles. They are laughing, asking why a dragon would ever be compared to a monkey. Seol Pung tries to act tough, but you can tell his feelings are hurt. The girls pile on, teasing him about his personality and telling him he is weird for reaching peak realm so young.
They ask why nobody dates him, and he screams that he doesn't care.
He definitely cares. He just got friend-zoned by his entire squad. Suddenly, the laughter dies. Seol Pung's face drops. He senses it. The killing intent in the air. He silences the group instantly. The playful vibe is gone, replaced by pure terror. Something massive is coming. The forest darkens as the enemy reveals themselves. It is not just a few bandits, it is an army. The demons from Jin's memory are here.
50 of them, with red eyes and bloodlust, rushing out of the shadows like a nightmare wave.
Seol Pung realizes instantly that they are outmatched.
This isn't a fight, it's an execution.
He screams for the vice leader to send the signal flare.
He orders a defense formation, but within seconds he changes his mind.
It is too much.
With sheer panic in his eyes, he screams for everyone to fall back and run.
The massacre has begun. Listen up, because the jungle just turned into a slaughterhouse. These cunning spirits aren't just ugly, they are tunnel-visioned predators that lock onto a single target and ignore everything else. The only way to survive is to fight in pairs, using one guy as bait while the other strikes. It is basic strategy, but apparently, Group 6 missed the memo. Things are going south faster than a politician's apology video. For the first time in this entire conflict, the humans are outnumbered by the spirits.
Usually, it is a fair fight, but today the math isn't matang, and the warriors are forced into disadvantages that spell instant death.
The formation is crumbling. Warriors are getting isolated, forced to face 2 or 3 monsters alone, which is a guaranteed game over.
You can see the panic in their eyes as their defensive line breaks and they realize they are about to become lunch.
It is absolute chaos. The defensive formation has completely collapsed, and desperate cries for help are echoing through the trees. Just as Group 6 prepares to meet their maker, a wild Group 7 appears out of nowhere to save their sorry hides. Talk about a last-minute save. The squad bursts onto the scene right before the massacre happens. Bae Jongwon decides it is time to show everyone why he has been eating protein powder by the bucket load. This man is a walking tank. He unleashes the iron physique meteor, literally smashing through the enemy lines like a bowling ball hitting pins made of flesh and bone. The sheer impact sends spirits flying and leaves everyone absolutely shook. He is not done yet. Following up with the golden physique star, the squad uses the raw power of their external arts to forcibly carve open an escape path. It is brutal, effective, and exactly what these exhausted warriors needed. Won Chong-won, the leader of Group 6, is standing there with his jaw on the floor. He cannot believe the sheer strength of these reinforcements. Jin doesn't have time for compliments, though. He starts barking orders like a drill sergeant on caffeine.
Jin screams at the survivors to run for their lives while his team stays behind to clean up the mess.
It is a high-stakes tactical play, and Group 7 is ready to hold the line against an army of nightmares. Now comes the crazy part of the plan. Seong gets tasked with the role of ultimate bait. He has to lure the intermediate rank spirits away from the main group.
He is complaining the whole time about how insane this is, but he still slices his hand to use the scent of blood to draw them in.
Seong takes off like a rocket, screaming profanities at Jin for making him do this.
But let's be real, his speed is unmatched. He keeps just out of reach of the monsters, leading the strongest threats away on a wild goose chase through the forest. With the big bads distracted, it is Chong Yunjin's time to shine. She steps up with her terrifying sword Chi, ready to slice and dice. Jin and the rest of the squad rally behind her, preparing to wipe out the remaining fodder. Jin takes a moment to reflect as the bodies hit the floor.
In his past life, this battle was a total tragedy where everyone died except for Won Chong-won.
It was a massacre that haunted him, but this time, he flipped the script.
Because he spent every waking moment training his friends and making them stronger, the tragedy has been averted.
They wrap up the battle with minimal losses, proving that you can actually change fate if you grind hard enough.
Fast forward a few days, and the squad is back at camp, but they are not exactly smelling like roses. They are complaining about the heavy stench of medicine soaking into their clothes, which is the price of power apparently. But hey, the results speak for themselves. The perception of the entire army has shifted.
Nobody thinks external martial arts are useless anymore.
In fact, soldiers are gathering around just to watch them train, blushing at the sight of these absolute units. Of course, watching is one thing, but doing is another.
Some brave souls try to join the training, only to realize it is actual torture.
Most of them flee immediately, and the ones who want to stay get blocked by their friends because nobody wants to sign up for voluntary hell. Their little recovery session gets interrupted, though. Just as they are cooling down, a familiar face shows up. Miss Tang arrives on the scene, looking elegant as always, and you know the plot is about to thicken. The squad is stunned to see her. She steps into the clearing, and the atmosphere shifts immediately. It seems their reputation has reached even the higher-ups, or maybe she just missed the smell of sweat and medicine. With Miss Tang's arrival, the dynamic changes again. The boys are caught off guard, and judging by that look in her eye, she isn't just here for a social call. Things are about to get interesting in the next chapter. The atmosphere shifts instantly as Tang Yoyan arrives on the scene. We are talking about a beauty so blinding that the narrative literally describes her as the only source of light in a dark world. Every head turns, and jaws hit the floor. She is not just walking, she is floating through the camp like she owns the place, and honestly, with that kind of aura, she probably does. Just as the squad is busy staring, another figure steps up. It is Myeong Sahayan, the vice leader of the third squad. But instead of throwing his weight around like a typical arrogant superior, he actually drops a sincere apology.
He admits he thought their training was a waste of time, but seeing the results, he is ready to eat his words.
Talk about character development in record time. He is so impressed that he even asks if he can learn their physical training routine. But then he leans in for a little gossip session, whispering that while Tang Yoyan looks like a cold goddess, she is actually possessive and clingy. It is a hilarious contrast to her icy exterior, but Jean knows there is a lot more to this guy than just being a friendly gossip king. As Myong walks away, Jean watches him with a heavy gaze. In the previous life, this man was a tragic figure. He is deeply in love with Tang Yoyan, effectively running the third squad because she is too difficult for the soldiers to approach directly. He is basically the ultimate simp, dedicating his entire existence to shielding her and managing her responsibilities. But Jean remembers how that story ends, and it is not a fairy tale. Myong Sahayan was a man bold enough to shout his love to the world, yet his loyalty became his undoing. He is a good man serving a woman who is emotionally unavailable, and Jean knows that this path only leads to one destination: absolute disaster. The memory hits Jean like a truck. In his past life, Myong did not just die in battle, he died at the hands of the woman he loved.
The blood cult twisted his mind, breaking him mentally until Tang Yoyan had no choice but to cut him down herself. It is a brutal, bloody history that Jin is desperate to avoid repeating this time around.
And it did not end well for Tang Yoyan either. After being forced to kill Myong, she was betrayed by Ma Yugiam, the fourth squad leader, which drove her into total despair. The cold, perfect woman everyone admires is actually walking a razor's edge toward a complete mental breakdown.
She is not an ice queen by choice, she is a ticking time bomb of tragedy.
Back in the present, Jean asks his team about Tang Yoyan, and they immediately get the wrong idea.
They start teasing him, thinking he has fallen for her charms like everyone else.
Jean tries to explain that he only needs her help to deal with the steel spirits, but of course, nobody believes him.
They think he is just making excuses to get close to his crush.
The girls are practically squealing with excitement, convinced that the stoic Jean is love-struck. It is a total chaotic mess. Jean is trying to talk strategy and survival, while his squad is planning his wedding.
He realizes that explaining the concept of future knowledge in spirit hunting is pointless when everyone is wearing shipping goggles.
The mood shifts gears as night falls. It is time for patrol duty. The peaceful forest vibe is instantly ruined when they sense a disturbance. Seal Peng halts the squad, his senses sharp. They are not alone out here, and whatever is lurking in the dark is not friendly. The playful atmosphere from earlier evaporates in a heartbeat. Chaos spirits emerge from the shadows. These things are dangerous enough to threaten martial artists at the pinnacle realm, hunting for lust and absorption. But Seal Peng does not even flinch. He moves like a blur, tearing through the demonic entities with brutal efficiency.
It is a reminder of why he is the squad leader. When it comes to fighting monsters, the guy is a beast.
However, once the fighting stops, Seal Peng's fatal flaw reveals itself. The moment his female squad members start praising him, he completely freezes up. The man who just slaughtered demons is terrified of women. He stammers, panics, and tries to run away. It would be funny if Jean did not know how dangerous this phobia actually is.
Jean reflects that in the past life, Seal Peng only overcame this fear after losing a female comrade.
It took a tragedy to fix him.
Jean watches his leader retreat into the woods and makes a silent vow. He is going to cure that phobia before anyone has to die this time. He is rewriting the script, one trauma at a time. Meanwhile, the villains are plotting. We cut to Ma Yugiam, that snake-faced fourth squad leader, who is hyping up Ju Taegyung. They are trash-talking Seal Peng and Jean, mocking their worthiness.
Ma Yugiam reminds Ju Taegyung that his duel with Jean is in 2 weeks and demands that he does not just win, but absolutely destroys him.
Back at Jin's camp, Seal Peng gets serious. He points out the massive gap in Jin's arsenal. Jin's mental understanding is first-rate, but his internal chi is lacking, stuck at second-rate. He needs at least 30 years worth of chi to use sword chi properly. Seal Peng knows Jean has a trick up his sleeve and presses him to spill the beans. Jean finally reveals his ace card, an elixir left by his father. It can boost his chi by 10 years instantly. The squad is shocked, but there is a catch. The elixir is not pure, it is loaded with external chi. Consuming it is a massive gamble because if the external energy overwhelms his own, it is game over.
The team realizes the danger immediately.
Chi deviation. If the external chi exceeds half of his total chi, his body could reject it, leading to madness or death. Jean is basically holding a grenade and planning to swallow it. The concern on their faces is real, but Jean is grinning like a madman because he has a plan that they cannot even comprehend. Jean explains that he has been waiting for this exact moment. He plans to use the ultimate primordial unity arts to refine the energy, ensuring he can absorb it safely. He is confident he can hit mid-first-rate status. Harayan is just stunned that Jean has never taken an elixir before, realizing that this monster of a fighter has been running on raw talent and hard work alone.
There is a brief moment of levity as Harayan realizes they are in the same boat of being broke martial artists.
But the tension returns quickly.
Jin knows that after his duel, the meeting between the Blood Demon and the Alliance leader will happen.
In his past life, it was oddly peaceful, and that memory is itching at the back of his brain. Jean starts putting the puzzle pieces together.
He wonders how the demonic heads of the blood cult, who constantly absorb external chi from others, manage to survive without exploding from chi deviation.
It defies the laws of martial arts. The peace at the 13th Corps meeting in his past life now feels incredibly suspicious, like the calm before a storm.
The squad is ordered to clean up the area, which annoys them, but Jean is deep in thought. He realizes the contradiction.
If the blood cult relies on stealing chi, the risk of deviation should be sky high.
Yet, they are thriving. There is a secret technique or a horrifying method they are using to bypass the natural limits of the body. The realization hits.
The blood cult is not just absorbing energy, they are using something else to stabilize it. We get a gruesome glimpse of a blood cult leader draining the life out of a victim.
It is a stark reminder of the evil they are up against.
They are cheating the system by consuming lives, and Jean is the only one who sees the pattern. While Jean is playing detective, his opponent is grinding. Ju Taegyang is shown tearing through training dummies with terrifying power. He has leveled up significantly, fueled by Ma Yugiam's manipulation and his own arrogance. He is fast, lethal, and completely ready to take Jin's head off in the upcoming duel. Ma Yugiam watches his puppet with satisfaction. He notes that Ju Taegyang has reached the upper first-rate level. The snake is pleased. He is not just training a soldier, he is sharpening a weapon to settle his own grudge. He praises Ju, stroking his ego to ensure he is at peak lethality for the match. Ju Taegyang thanks his master, completely unaware he is being used. Ma Yugiam's face twists into a smirk. He tells Ju not to be satisfied with just winning. He wants a display of overwhelming dominance to prove the Diansong sect's superiority. It is clear this is personal for Ma Yugiam. Ma Yugiam's internal monologue, and it is pure salt.
He is furious that Jean dared to reject his offer to join the Diansong sect.
His pride is wounded, and he is determined to make Jean pay for that insult with his life. The stage is set for a brutal showdown, and Ma Yugiam is expecting a massacre.
The higher-ups are absolutely losing their minds right now.
They can't believe a bunch of green rookies managed to take down a blind demonic human, a monster that usually eats experienced warriors for breakfast. But Chongyunjin isn't about to steal the valor. She steps up and points straight at the real MVP, revealing that it was Xianwu Jin who carried the entire team. She explains how this absolute madman risked his life to pry the demon's mouth open and blast it with light, basically spoon-feeding them the victory. Of course, our boy Jin decides to play the humble card. He hits them with the classic "I just did some research" excuse, claiming he read about the demon's weakness to light in a book somewhere.
The elites are eating it up, thinking he's just a studious genius rather than a combat prodigy.
One of the leaders looks at him with a creepy smile, already calculating how to use this second-rate warrior for their own gain.
They think he's a pawn, but they have no idea who they're dealing with.
Enter Ma Yugiam from the 4th squad, looking smug as hell. He steps in, ready to snatch up the hot new prospect, assuming Jean will jump at the chance to join his elite unit. But Jean hits him with a hard pass that leaves everyone stunned. The rejection is so blunt that Yu-Gi-Um actually short-circuits for a second. Jean ignores the prestigious offer and instead turns his attention to the rugged, bearded guy in the corner, Seo Pung. Jean goes full fanboy mode. He runs up to squad leader Seo Pung and basically begs to join his team. Why? Because Jean doesn't care about fancy sword techniques or sect politics. He wants to punch things. He's obsessed with Seo Pung's physical combat style, describing how the man destroys monsters with just kicks and fists. Seo Pung looks confused, like he's not used to anyone actually wanting to join his suicide squad of muscleheads. Yu-Gi-Um is not taking this well. His ego just took a massive hit, and he starts trashing Seo Pung's squad, calling them a bunch of losers from nameless clans with garbage methods. He brings up his own status as the son of the Diansung sect leader, trying to flex his pedigree. But Jean doesn't care about his daddy's sect. He looks Yu-Gi-Um dead in the eye and doubles down, practically shouting that he'd rather learn how to throw hands than wave a sword around. The deal is sealed. Jean and Seo Pung bond over their shared love of punching demons in the face. Jean declares he wants to test the toughness of his flesh, which is basically code for "I want to be a tank." Seo Pung loves the enthusiasm and accepts him on the spot.
Meanwhile, Yu-Gi-Um is grinding his teeth in the background, looking like he's about to pop a blood vessel from the sheer disrespect.
Cut to later, and Yu-Gi-Um is still stewing in his own salt. He's recalling the humiliation and deciding that he can't let a second-rate nobody get away with bruising his pride. He summons his subordinate, Ju Taekyung, and gives him a shady order. He wants Jean to be taught a lesson. You can see the snake-like malice in his eyes.
He's not just angry, he's vindictive.
Taekyung and Yu-Gi-Um are walking through the woods, and the orders get specific. Yu-Gi-Um explicitly tells him not to kill or cripple Jean, but definitely to beat him within an inch of his life. It's that classic toxic villain behavior where they want to assert dominance without technically breaking the alliance rules. Taekyung looks nervous, probably realizing his boss is a total psycho.
Taekyung tries to be the voice of reason, pointing out that attacking a fellow ally in the middle of a war against the blood cult is, treasonous and stupid.
He's stuttering, terrified of Yu-Gi-Um but also terrified of the consequences. But Yu-Gi-Um isn't hearing it.
He cuts him off with a glare that could freeze water, questioning Taekyung's loyalty.
The gaslighting continues. Yu-Gi-Um spins some nonsense about how they need to cooperate with scum for the greater good, but that doesn't mean they can't enforce respect. He calls Jean a snake-like bastard, which is ironic coming from the biggest snake in the forest. He essentially threatens Taekyung, forcing him to agree to the ambush. Taekyung, having no backbone, caves in and agrees to jump Jean. Meanwhile, back at the 7th Squad barracks, things are getting weirdly intimate.
It turns out there's a mandatory inspection to check for mind control.
The method? Staring deeply into a woman's eyes. Squad leader Seo Pung is sweating bullets because the man has zero game.
He can't even look the vice squad leader in the face without panicking.
His subordinates are roasting him mercilessly, joking that getting mind controlled might actually help him land a wife.
The roast session continues.
Jean is laughing at his boss, thinking he's safe.
Then Bai Seong steps up to take the test, acting all confident. But the moment he sits down in front of the vice squad leader, he folds faster than a lawn chair. He can't hold eye contact either. It seems this entire squad is composed of socially awkward virgins who can fight demons but can't handle a woman's gaze. The mood shifts slightly as they explain the lore.
The blood cult has a nasty habit of charming male warriors, turning them into sleeper agents.
The only way to detect it is to check for the glint in their eyes, and apparently, women are more sensitive to these subtle changes. It's a serious security measure, but watching these tough warriors squirm makes it hilarious. Now it's Jin's turn.
He steps up, probably thinking, "I got this, I'm the main character." He sits down across from Naoyu.
She tells him to look straight into her eyes. Jean tries to play it cool, glancing at her, but she calls him out immediately. "Maintain eye contact, don't just glance," she says. Jean takes a deep breath and prepares to lock eyes. The moment Jean actually looks at Na Xiaoyu, his brain melts.
He realizes she has puppy-like, cute eyes and a healing smile.
The unexpected beauty hits him like a truck. His face turns completely red, steam practically coming out of his ears.
He's panicking so hard he looks like he's in physical pain.
Xiaoyu just laughs, finding his reaction adorable, while the rest of the squad is dying of laughter in the background. The guys are absolutely destroying Jean now. They point out that he blushed before he even really looked at her properly. Jean is trying to defend himself, but there's no coming back from this. He's been exposed as a massive simp.
Even Xiaopeng, the guy who couldn't look up from the floor, thinks Jin's reaction is embarrassing.
It's a total loss of aura for our protagonist. Na Xiaoyu takes pity on him and says she doesn't even need to check his eyes because his reaction proves he's definitely not a soulless puppet.
Jean, in a moment of pure tragedy, starts crying comically because he actually wanted to keep staring at her.
He apologizes for being weird, but deep down, he's just devastated that the inspection is over. With a shift in focus to Chongyunjin, Jean asks if they checked her eyes too. The squad mentions that they've never seen her full face because she always wears a veil. She claims it's because of a scar, but the vice squad leader drops a heavy hint.
She suggests that if Chongyunjin showed her true face, it would cause a large commotion. Jean puts the pieces together and realizes she's probably not scarred at all. She's just dangerously beautiful.
Listen up, because the situation just went from bad to absolute nightmare fuel.
We aren't dealing with your average creepy crawly here.
This is a spider spirit, a literal apex predator that scales infinitely.
Every time it drains a human of their true blood, it doesn't just get buffed physical stats, it gets smarter.
And judging by the current intel, this thing is already hitting the power levels of an early Pinnacle Realm artist. That is a massive problem. With the heavy hitters of the squad away on a mission, the camp is basically a buffet waiting to be opened. Jean, being the only one with a brain cell functioning at full capacity, sits his team down for a serious talk. He warns Zhongwan and Seong to stay the hell away from the forest.
It feels like a wholesome family meeting, but Jin is sweating bullets internally, because he knows how fast this piece can turn into a bloodbath.
Seong, being the absolute ray of sunshine she is, promises to stay safe.
Look at that smile. That is the smile of someone who has no idea they are living in a dark fantasy manhwa.
Jin is trying to keep them alive, but fate has a funny way of throwing curveballs when you least expect it.
While patrolling, Jean spots a familiar face. That's Mei Yokyung, the vice leader of the 4th squad. Seeing her triggers some serious PTSD for our MC. In his previous life, she died around this time, and her death completely broke Ma Yugiam, turning a legendary warrior into a mental wreck. We absolutely cannot let that canon event happen again. Mei looks frantic, scanning the area like she lost her wallet, but it's much worse. She's searching for a squad member named Sun Hering. Jean plays dumb, asking who she's looking for, but the gears in his head are already turning. If a soldier is missing right now, with that monster in the woods, the clock isn't just ticking, the alarm is already ringing. Mei explains that Sun Hering has been a mess lately. Why? Because her fiancé got clapped in the fight against the Twin Scythe 7 misfortunes.
It's the classic tragedy of the front lines, lovers die, and the survivors are left to drown in grief.
But grief makes you do stupid things, like wandering off alone when there's a super predator on the loose.
As Mei leaves, the pieces of the puzzle slam together in Jin's mind.
He remembers the timeline.
In his past life, a tragedy started exactly like this. A grieving soldier went into the forest to mourn and got slaughtered.
That death snowballed into the vice leader's death.
Jean realizes that Sun Hering isn't just missing. She is walking straight into a death trap.
Panic mode engaged.
Jean tries to rush off to play hero solo, but his teammates aren't having it. He tries to tell them he had a bad dream or a bad feeling, the classic excuse for, I know the future, trust me. Zhongwan and Seong, being the ride-or-die homies they are, refuse to let him go alone. The trio dives into the forest, moving fast. The atmosphere is heavy, and you can practically smell the ambush coming. Zhongwan asks if they should be scared, and Seong puts on a brave face, claiming the three of them can handle a horde of spirits. Oh, sweet summer child, you have no idea what's waiting in the East Forest. Jean is desperate. He knows the spider spirit is lurking in the east, so they need to find Harangue before she becomes a stat boost for the monster. He shouts her name, breaking stealth because time is a luxury they don't have. They decide to split up slightly to cover more ground, usually a terrible idea in horror movies, but they keep visual contact.
Suddenly, a scream tears through the woods.
But it's not the girl, it's an ambush. A horde of cunning spirits bursts out of the foliage. These things are ugly, naked, and fast. But our squad didn't come here to play tag. It's showtime for the tank. Jongwon unleashes an indestructible charge, plowing through the enemies like a bowling ball hitting pins made of meat. Look at the impact. He sends those ghouls flying. This is why you always bring a tank to a DPS fight. They smash through the mob and reach the source of the distress signal. But, damn it. We were too slow. They find Sun Harangue lying on the ground, and she is clearly past the point of saving. The mood instantly shifts from adrenaline to horror. Jean stares at the body. She's been decimated.
Seong and Jongwon are horrified, thinking the cunning spirits did this.
But Jean knows better. These fodder enemies couldn't inflict this kind of damage so quickly. This was precise. This was brutal. Jean inspects the neck. Fang marks. 2 massive puncture wounds. That confirms it. The spider spirit didn't just kill her, it fed. And if it fed, it's still here.
Jean screams for everyone to run, but the trap has already been sprung.
They freeze. High above on a branch, looking down at them like they are appetizers, is the spider spirit. And the worst part? It is grinning.
That scream earlier wasn't a cry for help, it was a lure.
This thing is playing 4D chess while they're playing checkers. The realization hits them like a truck.
The monster used a human scream to bait them into its web.
Its eyes are wide, manic, and full of bloodlust.
This isn't a mindless beast, it's a psychopath that enjoys the hunt.
Jean calculates the odds instantly. They can't fight this thing head-on as a group. He orders a retreat to the south on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. They scatter, sprinting for their lives. But running away from a speedster is easier said than done. The spider spirit drops from the trees and moves with terrifying velocity.
Jean realizes the gap in their speed stats is too high.
At this rate, the monster is going to catch the slowest one, and it's going to be a massacre. The spider spirit is closing in, ignoring the fodder spirits. Jean does the math, the creature is as fast as him, but Jongwon is too slow. If they keep running together, the tank dies first. It's inevitable. And then, Jongwon stops running. He turns around to face the nightmare alone. He tells his friends to run while he keeps it at bay. Oh God, it's the ultimate death flag. He's pulling a hold the door moment. In Jin's past life, this is exactly how Jongwon died, smiling while sacrificing himself for his team. Jean sees the overlay of the past and present.
The same smile.
The same stupid, noble sacrifice. But Jean isn't the same weakling he was back then.
He screams at himself to stay logical, but his body is moving on pure instinct and rage.
The horde of cunning spirits is catching up too. It's a pincer attack.
Jongwon accepts his fate, telling them it's the only way.
But Jean grabs him and says, "Nope, not today, Satan." He rejects the sacrifice play. Jean comes up with a new plan on the fly. He shoves Jongwon toward the cunning spirits, "You handle the trash mobs." Then he turns to Seong, "You run and bring the squad leader." That leaves one job left. The suicide mission. Jean draws his blade. He is going to solo the boss. He yells at Seong to go before he dies. It's chaotic, it's desperate, and it's the only shot they have. Jongwon starts smashing the small fry, clearing the path.
Seong is crying, her heart breaking, but she knows she has to run.
She screams back at them not to dare die on her.
The raw emotion here is palpable. This squad really cares about each other, which raises the stakes to the moon.
Sayang sprints away, tears streaming down her face, promising to follow them to hell if they die.
Jean watches her go, cracks a savage grin, and calls her a dumbass. He threatens that he'll never forgive Jongwon if he kills himself for a stupid reason. Now it's just Jean and the nightmare. The spider spirit lunges, a blur of muscle and malice.
Jin stands his ground, sword ready, facing a monster that has grown stronger on the blood of his comrades.
It's do or die, and Jean is ready to unleash hell. We start right in the thick of it with Jean facing off against this nightmare fuel of a spider spirit.
Most people would be crying for their mamas, but our boy is out here treating a life-or-death battle like a rhythmic gymnastics routine.
He realizes pretty quickly that brute force isn't gonna cut it against this thing because its skin is thicker than a politician's skull.
Look at the airtime. Jean decides that if he can't smash it, he'll just have to confuse it. He starts spamming his illusion sword style, making sure this overgrown arachnid keeps its eyes glued to him. The goal? Keep the aggro off his squad, because if this thing turns around, it is game over for everyone else. Speaking of the squad, poor Jongwon is fighting for his life in the background. My man is tanking a horde of cunning spirits all by himself, but even a tank has a gas limit. Jean clocks that his buddy is running on fumes, and if the spider spirit decides to switch targets, Jongwon is going to turn into Spirit Chow. Jean decides to be the most annoying distraction possible.
He literally screams, "Over here, you spider F word," just to make sure the monster knows exactly who to hate.
It is a bold strategy, Cotton, let's see if it pays off. He is putting his life on the line just to buy his team a few more seconds of breathing room. The monster snaps at the bait and comes charging in, but Jean unleashes those slippery evasion techniques he learned from Seung. He is dodging claws by millimeters, dancing around death like it is a casual hobby. He even shouts out a thank you to his teacher while actively almost dying. That is dedication. The desperation is real though. Jean starts shouting that if Seung manages to bring the squad leader here before he gets turned into paste, he will literally call her big brother for the rest of his life. Meanwhile, Jongwon is still playing whack-a-mole with the zombies, and the situation is looking grim. But adrenaline only lasts so long. You can see the sweat dripping and the heavy breathing kicking in. Both Jean and Jongwon are hitting their physical limits.
Jean starts doing the mental math and realizes that surviving until reinforcements arrive is looking statistically impossible.
They are slowing down, and the enemy isn't. Here is the bad news, this spider spirit isn't just ugly, it is built like a tank. It has the physical specs of the pinnacle realm. Jin's sword attacks are bouncing off its skin like he is hitting a steel wall. He knows the eyes and mouth are weak spots, but this thing is moving way too fast for him to land a precision strike without getting decapitated. Wait a minute. Jin's brain finally catches up to his speed. He remembers the terrain map, there is a rocky mountain area deep in this forest.
He realizes something crucial. Chaotic spirits rule the night, but this spider spirit is active during the day.
That means it relies on sight. A crazy gamble of a plan starts forming in his head. It is time to run. Jean turns tail and books it, leading the monster on a merry chase through the woods. He is betting everything on this one theory. If he is wrong, he is just cornering himself for a gruesome death. But if he is right, this might be the only way to flip the script on this predator. The chase isn't clean though. The monster catches up and forces an exchange. Look at the sparks flying. Jean tries to cut it again, but the feedback from the impact nearly shatters his wrists.
He is barely deflecting these blows, and you can see the panic starting to set in his eyes.
He needs to get to his destination, fast. This thing is relentless. It is swiping through trees like they are made of paper. Jean takes a heavy hit and goes flying, rolling across the dirt.
The spider spirit screams in victory, thinking it has finally caught the little fly.
But Jean isn't done yet, he scrambles up, using the momentum to keep moving toward his trap. Finally, Jean spots the entrance to a dark cave tunnel in the Rocky Mountain. This is it. The finish line. He dives into the darkness with the monster hot on his heels. The transition from the bright forest to the pitch-black tunnel is jarring, and that is exactly what he is counting on. Welcome to the Thunderdome. In the pitch black, the rules of the game change. Jean confirms his theory: the spider spirit relies heavily on sight. Without light, the monster is effectively blind. But here is the kicker: so is Jean.
It is now a battle of senses, smell versus hearing, instinct versus bloodlust.
The monster is thrashing around, screeching in confusion. It can't see its prey anymore. Jean stops moving.
He forces his heart rate down, shutting out the fear.
He recalls the brutal sensory training he endured with the squad leader. He needs to become one with the darkness, sensing the flow of the air rather than looking with his eyes. This is his Zen moment.
He tightens his grip on the sword, feeling the blood drip from his hand.
He heightens every remaining sense to the absolute limit. He can feel the monster's location, its erratic movements, and its stance. He knows he only has one shot at this. If he misses, the monster will grab him by smell alone. He waits for the monster to commit to a charge. The moment he feels the shift in the air pressure, Jean's eyes snap open in the dark. Now. He unleashes a devastating counterstrike, using the monster's own momentum against it. The blue aura of his blade lights up the cave for a split second as he slices through the beast's defense.
The scream of the monster echoes through the tunnel, followed by a heavy thud.
Silence returns to the cave.
Jean stands there, panting, with a slightly unhinged smile on his face.
He actually pulled it off. The absolute madman gambled his life on a physics lesson and won. But there is no time to celebrate. He remembers his bro is still outside fighting. Jean sprints back out of the cave and finds Jongwon still holding the line, though barely. Jongwon looks like he has seen a ghost when Jean pops up, fully expecting his friend to be spider poop by now. Jean just flashes that signature grin and says, "Let's go back." The main threat is down, and it is time to get the hell out of Dodge before more creeps show up. Look at this absolute mess of a man. Squad leader Seol Pung is bawling his eyes out like a toddler who dropped his ice cream, but honestly, can you blame him?
He really thought his entire team was going to be spider food.
He is hugging them like they are the last bag of chips on earth, thanking the heavens, and Seong, for keeping everyone breathing. It is a wholesome moment, but let's not get too used to peace and quiet. Just then, RMC Jean strolls in, looking way too calm for a guy who just butchered a monster. Seol Pung is absolutely floored, asking how a second-rate warrior managed to solo a spider spirit. The math isn't matting for him. He is looking at Jean like he just grew a second head, impressed but also deeply confused about how this rookie is stacking bodies like a veteran. But Jean is playing the long game. He pulls the squad leader aside and drops a request: keep your mouth shut about this. He knows that if word gets out that a nobody killed a spirit beast, the attention will be annoying, and frankly, nobody would believe it anyway. He hits him with the humble act, claiming he just wants to survive with his buddies and doesn't care about clout or rewards. A classic Smurf account strategy.
Seol Pung buys it, probably because looking at Jin's innocent smile makes him think the guy is just a modest saint.
Little does he know, Jean is playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers. With the deal sealed, the night settles in, but for our protagonist, sleep isn't exactly a peaceful escape. We dive straight into nightmare fuel. Jean is tossed back into the hellscape of his previous life.
It is dark, terrifying, and screaming PTSD.
He sees himself falling, surrounded by darkness, hearing the desperate cries of squad leader Seol Pung from the original timeline. The visuals here are grim. This isn't just a bad dream, it is a memory of absolute failure. The scenery shifts to a literal inferno. Bodies are dropping, fire is consuming everything, and Jean is forced to watch his comrades get wiped out all over again. The colors here are violent reds and oranges, emphasizing the chaos of the war that destroyed everything he loved.
It is a brutal reminder of why he is training so hard in this second life.
He wakes up gasping for air, drenched in cold sweat.
That wasn't just a dream, it was a front-row seat to his own trauma. He is sitting there, heart pounding, realizing that even though he changed things this time around, the ghosts of the past are still haunting him. He looks at his hands, shaking, grounding himself back in reality. Jean takes a moment to calibrate. He tells himself that the nightmare was just a memory, but the threat is still very real. He looks over at his sleeping squadmates, realizing that in his past life, they all died one by one. He has managed to save a friend this time, but he knows better than anyone that this is just the tutorial level. He starts crunching the numbers. Sure, he rescued a friend, and he is training like a maniac to reach the pinnacle realm, but doubt starts creeping in. Is this truly enough? He asks himself. The power scaling in this world is ruthless, and being strong isn't the same as being strong enough to stop the apocalypse. Here comes the lore dump of doom. Jean runs through the roster of upcoming bosses. The Steel Spirit and the Viper Spirit are on their way. He remembers barely surviving last time only because his friends sacrificed themselves as meat shields. It is a grim realization that every demonic human he fights now is just a warm-up for the real monsters. The timeline is a ticking time bomb. 5 years.
That is when the blood demonic human shows up. A monster with pinnacle martial prowess that will essentially wreck the entire front line.
2 years after that? Game over.
The front falls, the blood cult ignores all treaties and massacres everyone.
Jean died in that chaos originally, so he has no clue if the Alliance actually won or if the bad guys took over the server. The uncertainty is eating him alive. He doesn't know the ending of the story because he died before the final chapter. All he can do is grind XP. He stands alone in the moonlight, sword in hand, asking the moon if his efforts matter. The answer? Of course not. Not yet, anyway. He needs to be stronger. Snap back to the present. He has 2 days left before his big duel with Ju Taekyung. But of course, because the universe loves irony, he gets stuck with patrol duty.
Jean is visibly annoyed, walking with the squad, thinking about all the training gains he is losing.
But then we spot Na Xiaoyu, and the vibe shifts from grumpy grinder to tragic backstory time. We get a look into Na Xiao's past, and wow, it is depressing. Her mother died when she was 7, and her father brought in a stepmother straight out of a fairy tale villain catalog. This woman took control of the Na family and decided that her own son was too precious for war, so guess who got sent to the front lines as a sacrifice? The stepmother basically told her, go die for the family so my boy can live. And Xiaoyu, having been beaten into submission her whole life, just took it. She didn't know how to say no.
She thought enduring the pain was her duty.
It is heartbreaking to see her standing there, accepting a death sentence because she was raised to be a doormat for these toxic people. She rode off to the front lines, fully expecting to die. And honestly, she almost did. On her very first patrol, the universe decided to test her luck immediately. The squad splits up to look for tracks, which is horror movie rule number 1 of what not to do, and Xiaoyu finds herself alone in the woods. She is running, terrified, realizing the spider spirit is nearby. But she isn't fast enough. She trips, or rather, falls right into a trap. The realization hits her too late as she stares at the gruesome remains of a victim with spider teeth marks. She is freezing up, and that is when the predator shows up. She tries to fire a signal flare, but before she can pull the trigger, a shadow drops from the trees. It is not the spider, it is worse. A human scumbag. A demonic head. This guy looks like he hasn't showered in a decade and has the moral compass of a sewer rat. He corners her, and the look in his eyes is pure malice. It was a trap set by this creep. He strikes her with a paralysis technique, and she drops to the ground, helpless. Her body won't move, and she is forced to look up at this disgusting villain who starts monologuing about how pretty she is. The red flags are flying high, and the situation just went from dangerous to absolutely vile.
The creep leans in, saying he likes it and plans to take her home and enjoy her all night. Yeah, we need a hero, and we need one 5 minutes ago.
Xiaoyu is terrified, tears in her eyes, accepting that this is the end.
But just as the slimeball reaches for her, footsteps thunder in. Wham! A boot connects with the guy's face at Mach speed. It is Seol Peng. The squad leader comes flying in like a majestic eagle of vengeance and absolutely rocks the guy's jaw. The impact is so satisfying you can practically feel it through the screen. The creep goes flying, and Seol Pung lands the superhero landing. Seol Pung doesn't stop there.
He is furious.
The demon tries to fight back, screaming "How dare you," but Seol Pung isn't here to debate.
He is here to deliver a beatdown. He dodges, weaves, and prepares to send this guy to the Shadow Realm. It is a complete domination, showing why he is the squad leader. One final punch sends the creep crashing into the bushes, unconscious or worse. Seo Yu is lying there, stunned, trying to process that she isn't going to be assaulted and murdered. The silence returns to the forest, and the adrenaline starts to fade, leaving just the two of them. Now comes the funny part. Seol Pung, the guy who just demolished a demon, suddenly turns into a flustered mess.
He rushes over, asking if she is hurt, panic written all over his face.
He realizes she is paralyzed and awkwardly reaches out to release the technique.
The contrast between action hero and awkward nerd is hilarious. He stammers, explaining it is an acupuncture technique, his face turning red. He releases it, and for a second they just look at each other. Seol Pung is sweating bullets, completely out of his element with a girl. Seo Yu sees this big, strong warrior acting like a shy schoolboy, and the tension breaks. She bursts out laughing.
She forgets the fear, the near-death experience, and just laughs at how adorable he is being.
It is the start of a beautiful bond. We flash forward to the present, seeing them together in the autumn leaves. She followed him to Squad 7, not because she had to, but because she wanted to be with him. She admits that despite the hardships and the constant threat of death, these are the happiest times of her life.
Seol Pung is scratching his cheek, looking bashful, while Seo Yu smiles radiantly.
She knows she might die tomorrow on this brutal front line, but as long as she is with him, she is living her best life. And honestly, we ship it. After weeks of absolute hellish training, the 7th squad is looking completely different. The physical transformation is real, folks. Everyone is leaner, faster, and unfortunately, their egos are growing just as fast as their muscles. They're standing around complimenting each other like a bunch of gym rats admiring their gains in the mirror. But while everyone else is flexing and flirting, Seonwoo Jin is over here looking like he's carrying the weight of the entire world on his shoulders. The man is completely zoned out.
His squad mates think he's stressing about his upcoming death match. But let's be real. Jin usually has 500 other schemes running through his brain at any given moment.
Meanwhile, the ladies of the squad are engaging in some high-quality gossip. The topic of the day? The mysterious relationship between Jin and Chang Yunjin.
One of the girls admits she thought they were already a couple because Chang Yunjin followed him all the way to Squad 7.
It's the classic workplace romance rumor mill, and honestly, I'm here for the tea. And then, Chang Yunjin just drops a nuclear bomb on the conversation. No hesitation, no blushing, just straight facts. She openly admits, "I love Seonwoo Jin," romantically. The other girls are stunned. They were expecting some shy denial, but Chang Yunjin plays 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers. But here is the kicker, she didn't fall for the new, chiseled, handsome Jin. Oh no. She reveals that she fell for him back when he was round and chubby. She literally says, "I like round, cushy things." This woman has a type, and frankly, I respect the honesty. She saw the diamond in the rough before he polished himself up. Despite dropping the L-bomb, she has zero intention of actually making a move. She claims she's satisfied just observing him like he's a rare bird in the wild. The other girls are trying to hype her up to show her face or get closer, but Chang Yunjin is content with her one-sided admiration. It's kind of sweet, but also slightly stalkerish. The romance talk gets rudely interrupted when someone literally faceplants out of the forest. It's a guy from the Meow people, and he looks like he's seen a ghost. He comes crashing down at their feet, desperate and terrified, begging for help. Nothing kills the vibe of a girl's talk quite like a bleeding refugee. This guy explains that he lives deep in the forest and isn't a monster, just a regular human trying not to die.
He claims his savior some old martial arts master, who has been protecting his people, is currently coughing up blood and on death's door.
The squad realizes this sounds suspiciously like chi deviation, a nasty side effect of training too hard.
The squad gathers around, listening to this sob story. The stranger insists that without this old master, his entire village is going to get wiped out by the demonic humans infesting the woods. It's a classic RPG side quest setup: save the master, save the village, probably get some loot. But of course, we have a hater in the group. Ju Taegyang steps up and immediately calls Cap. He asks how a bunch of regular humans are surviving in a demon-infested forest.
He thinks it's a trap.
The stranger, desperate to prove he isn't lying, pulls out a secret weapon, a scent bag that supposedly scares away monsters. This catches Jin's attention immediately. While everyone else is arguing about trust, Jin is staring at that scent bag like it's the Holy Grail. If that thing actually works, it's a game changer for military operations. Jin's tactical brain is already spinning, calculating how he can exploit this situation for his own gain. Jin immediately pivots. He argues that they need to go help, not out of the kindness of his heart, but because the Miao people know the terrain. Gaining a guide who knows the deep forest is a massive strategic advantage.
Taegyang, naturally, thinks this is absolute nonsense and wants to stay put like a good little rule follower.
Taegyang tries to pull the peace treaty card, claiming they can't break the pact with the blood cult.
Jin literally laughs in his face.
He reminds the idiot that they get attacked by demonic humans every single day.
What kind of peace treaty is that? Jin is roasting him with pure logic, and Taegyang is running out of arguments. Then Jin goes for the throat. He manipulates Taegyang by bringing up his own sect's honor. He asks if the Dansung sect has forgotten their goal of reclaiming their mountain from the cult. He basically asks, "Are you a coward who wants to rot here forever, or do you want to win?" It's a masterclass in gaslighting your teammates into doing what you want. Seol Pung is sweating bullets because leaving the patrol grounds is a major crime punishable by death or worse. Jin calms him down by proposing a compromise: they won't take the whole squad. Just a small, elite strike team to go in, grab the intel, save the guy, and get out. Fast and dirty. Jin decides it'll just be him, Seol Pung, and Bai Seung. But then the stranger drops another bomb: there is a spider spirit in the woods that sucks people's essence. Lovely.
Just when you thought it was a simple rescue mission, now they have to deal with a supernatural arachnid.
Hearing about the spirit, Chong Yinjin steps up. She volunteers to join the team, claiming she's fast enough not to be a burden. With her heavy firepower added to the roster, Seol Pung finally caves and authorizes the mission. The A-team is assembled, and they are ready to roll out. Jin hands over command of the remaining squad members to the vice leader, basically telling her, "Try not to let everyone die while I'm gone." It's a touching moment, or as touching as it gets for a group of people who solve all their problems with violence. Before they can leave, Taegyang tries to get the last word in. He grabs Jin and growls, "You aren't trying to run away from our duel, are you?" The man is obsessed.
He thinks Jin is concocting this entire life or death mission just to avoid fighting him.
The narcissism is off the charts. Jin looks him dead in the eye and delivers the ultimate insult. He laughs and says, "A duel with you means nothing compared to this mission." He completely dismisses Taegyang as irrelevant. Look at Taegyang's face, he is absolutely triggered. Jin just destroyed his ego without throwing a single punch.